Hey guys, it is Mark Coe for the 27th of June. Wanted to take a look at a few of the trade opportunities today, and again, another great day where I'm getting some really good reports from some of the newer clients about their achievements thus far. Talking third day of the week, and a lot of people up some pretty decent money, and again, one contract. That's what I really like to hear, which means they're keeping it small as they go along and learn, but yet still profitable. I think today was a little bit of a challenge day for some in that a lot of the short-term opportunities were created with the fade side, and so I want to show you kind of what that looks like. We're looking at crude oil here, one of the big day trading markets that we focus on intraday. Very short-term charts we're looking at. This is a 2 hour, so this is just an idea to understand what it is you're looking at. You're looking at a market that is actually trending. You're talking in a week's time 64 to 73. So it's a big up move. So you can imagine what that looks like to be fade side this market. Now we did have some long opportunities early on prior to the 1030 inventory number. So I'll show you what those opportunities look like. Just above 7100, so it was 71. Let me if I can get that in focus there. 7107. So right here, 7107 long side. Long side does a little bit of back and forth just above the 20s and then flips back steady to the long side for some long opportunity. Now I discussed this in the room quite at length, that the idea of being able to take every trade, which on a fast moving chart will get you plenty of fade opportunities, but also you will experience when you see trends really develop, you will experience stuff like this. Now this is the end of the day where a lot of people made their money, or let's say some that learned a very valuable lesson about sticking with a strategy and a system. There are some that got multiple fade opportunities into that top edge that did that took those opportunities and finally said enough's enough, I can't take any more. Right up to the point where you're sitting at the day's highs and you get the same sell signal and it rotates off about 70, 80 cents to make that money back at the end of the day. That becomes a challenge for some of those that are not fully committed. And it's again something I really teach and stress in the course, which is that you have to decide prior to trading this stuff what your approach is going to be. Is it going to be somewhat discretionary, which if it is, not a problem, but understand that means you're a discretionary trader. If you're fully systematic, you're going to live with what the system does. And today, again, like most other days this week, it presented plenty of profit opportunities, but you had to be involved. You had to be there to do it. So crude oil, very strong up day. It sells off to end the day and gave some nice opportunity toward the end of the day into the close just around the 72.30 level. And we'll see what we have for tomorrow, but it's still, to this point, it's been very bullish. I would certainly expect gains to be somewhat more difficult at this level, being that you're back to that 72 area. So just when you look at it from the breakdown that took you down to the 63 handle just as recently as last week. I'll show you what that looks like on just a little bit bigger chart. So this is the area I'm speaking of when I'm looking at levels. The late May highs. So when you bring that level into focus, this is where you're trading now. So it's certainly, you can see how further gains in the short term could certainly be a little more challenging. Doesn't mean you're looking for imminent reversal, but it just means this is the level you're playing at. Sellers drove it down pretty hard from this level. We're achieving that level now, but it's the decision point, what do we do from this stage forward. And the way I would look at it is confirm trade above. I'd prefer to continue to buy pullbacks, and any rejection in here, use this edge then to lean against, and that's how I would look at it. Let's take a look at the E-minis. They were another exciting market. So overnight they traded down to the low 2700s. You get a news headline early in the morning that spikes them from about 27.12 all the way up to the eventual highs 27, I think it was 48s. But a big reversal late afternoon. So I want to show you some of those trades that were caught in there. Yeah. So again, from levels. This is why you do the big picture stuff. This is why you look at levels, right? That whole block. That was the sell-off area from Monday. Same area and the same result. And so that area has been known to you, known to us for 3 days now. That was the initiated selling area from Monday. All it did was trade right back to it. So you have to look at it and say, well, any short trade you get in there is going to automatically just be more attractive. Same thing with bottom edges, right? That same bottom edge that has not given way yet is still in place. It's still there. I don't care how weak it was at the end of the day. That same bottom edge is still there, and that's where it rallied from early this morning. So again, played level to level. But let me show you some of the shorter term opportunities, because E-minis presented some fairly decent places to act at extreme edges today. So I remember I just showed you above the 27.40 level. Here's your sell, 27.45. Now all of a sudden that trade takes on a little different meaning when you're viewing it from the standpoint of, wow, this is a bigger level. When you're viewing it 5-minute chart only, there's only so much meaning you're going to take out of it. But nonetheless, that sell trade rotates down to the 27.15 level. You got some long trade that picks you back up here, picks back up the sell, right? It's pretty quick acting stuff, but it gets you positioned short at the top, and then you see some decent follow through the rest of the day. Again, this is the fade side of looking at it. You're going to get, especially on short-term charts, you're going to see opportunities to go fade side that move. And I think that's ultimately where the decision comes in. Are you taking each opportunity and looking for no follow through, or are you starting to do some bigger picture work that says, hey, I want to focus on the extreme edges? And ultimately, there's not a right or wrong. It's more about your style. But there is something very important to sticking with the strategy, following through, because ultimately, to capture these moves, you have to be involved. And to be involved, you have to buy into the strategy and say, this is what I'm running. Because a lot of traders I'm seeing this week's been a little more challenging, still profitable, but challenging, which just means that you're seeing a lot more back and forth action, which is probably representative of a lot more accurate trading versus just flat out trend. If you buy something and it goes immediately higher, several dollars or several points in the E-minis, it's not really a challenge, but it's also not realistic that that's the expectation every time you deal. So, as I said, guys, it's been a nice week, some good profits, and I would expect more tomorrow. We do have the monthly subscription available, compassfx.com /peak. I think it's peak. I don't know. I'll put it on the sign up. But anyway, guys, cheers, and I hope you had a good day. I hope you're having a great week, and we'll catch up soon. Cheers.